Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Furman Football Monday, live here from Paladins Stadium on the beautiful campus of Furman University. I am Dan Scott, voice of the Paladins, along with head coach Clay Hendrix, coming off of just a heartbreaking loss on Saturday on homecoming to East Tennessee State University, 17-13, and turning our attention to the first of back-to-back road games beginning this Saturday at Chattanooga. Talked prior to, well, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Let's not dispense with the pleasantries.
No, it's those over the years, that's one of those that sticks with you a little bit. Obviously put ourselves in a great position to win the game, just didn't make enough plays to make it. To win it. And proud of kids how hard they played, and played well enough to win. Just didn't make enough plays to win. But that's also we get a chance to line up and do it again this week. And, I really feel like we're getting better. We just got to get over that hump of making some plays, really both sides of the ball, to win a big game like that.
I think we've touched on this before, but you've been doing this quite a while now. Do you find it's easier, in talking to your players, easier for the young folks to let one go and turn the page and move on quickly than it is for someone in your position?
It maybe is. You can ask Parker when he gets up here. He's an old guy anyways, but maybe so. I don't know. Just for us, you relive it all Saturday, and then Sunday you come back to work and you have to relive it again. So you watch the tape, grade it, go through all that, and you try to put that one to bed. And we've been moved on now for over 24 hours,
right.
So now and again, just try to build upon the things you did well, correct the things that you didn't do well, and just try to put yourself back in position to go make those plays.
And the other thing we were talking about right before we went on the air was in baseball specifically, because in the course of a major league season, it's 162 games, so you're playing just about every day. You have something like that, you get to come back and play again immediately. Football, you got to wait 7 days.
Well, I think the average person, obviously people that haven't played the game, just the amount of work that goes into playing a football game and the amount of preparation. And, probably even quadruple that with what the coaches do, And so you got awful lot invested. Obviously, our players awful lot, because it's a year-long process to get a chance to play 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
That really, you're not even guaranteed. I tell our guys that all the time. Injuries have a way of, ask Matt Sachoka that, played one football game this year before he got hurt. But, it's just try to prepare and do the things best chance for those opportunities to go play. And obviously when you come so close and don't get it done, it's tough.
But you have to move on, and we're obviously going to be talking about Chattanooga a little bit later on. In our middle segment, by the way, before we get too far carried away, we'll be visiting with fifth-year senior Parker Stokes, nose guard out of Rennes, Georgia. He'll be our player focus today. Let's take a look at some of the numbers from Saturday's game against ETSU, a game that the Paladins led the entire way until the final 9 segments. You can see the scoring breakdown and some of the offensive and defensive leaders. And, Clay, we had talked before the game that the previous 3 games in the series have been decided by a combined total of 13 points. So this one kind of fell right into, I think, the kind of game everybody expected.
Yeah, it was the kind of game that I expected. I knew points would be hard to come by, possibly both sides of the ball. And, obviously for us, I think we had 3 possessions on offense in the second half. I think we only had 4 possessions the week before, and so when you do get the ball, you got to be productive with it. And again, it was just obviously if you watch the football game, we certainly felt like we left some points out there, and then even having a chance to put the game away, we didn't get that done. And then still got a chance to get a stop, and at the end of the day, give them credit. They made a heck of a drive under the gun and did what they had to do to get the ball in the end zone.
We're going to take a look at our BMW highlights as we continue here in this first segment with head coach Clay Hendrix following the 17-13 loss. And, boy, your defense got after it. You've been talking about wanting to get more pressure on the quarterback all season long. How about 6 sacks in this game, 5 in the first half?
Yeah, and, they'd been really one of the least sacked teams in the country. They gave up a couple the week before to Chattanooga in the last really 2-minute drive. But we did a great job of getting to him. Obviously forced him to make some big adjustments at the half and left quite a few guys in to help protect. But really proud of our guys up front. And it's something I knew was there, and we'd have a chance to be able to do that, and it certainly showed up Saturday.
And after a week of looking a little uncomfortable throwing the football, Jace Wilson was pretty much on point for you on Saturday. He threw the ball really well.
Well, Jace gave us every opportunity to win the game. He did put us in position. Yeah, and obviously there's some things he'd love to do over again. Unfortunately, you can't do that, but you still got to remember third game ever college football, and he's played 2 rivalry games and played against that really, really quality team. So he's been pretty battle tested there, and I think he's only going to get better.
You like his mental makeup, don't you?
I really do, and I think not only that, I think the way our players have responded and rallied behind him as well. I think they have a lot of confidence in him, and that's what we'll continue to do, push forward.
It's another look at the Ryan Miller touchdown catch. Ryan set career highs for number of catches and yardage in the game, but again, the Paladins coming up 4 points short in that one. You talk about continuing to work and getting over the hump. Can you see it coming?
Oh yeah, I do. Like I said, I don't try to pay a whole lot of attention to what other people think. I try to make my own evaluation. But our staff, we see it, and it's funny just as pulling up the Chattanooga film from the spring, watching it to in the last couple of days, and just how much better we are from where we were at that point in time. So it's progress. I've seen it each week, and but at the end of the day, offensively you got to score points, and I think defensively, with exception of we just got to be better on third down. Giving up too many third and longs, and just letting them. We got to be able to get off the field, and so there's plenty of things both sides of the ball need to work on. I thought we were much better in special teams. They had hurt everybody with kick returns. We created a turnover. That was an emphasis. So I'm seeing it everywhere. It's maybe not coming as fast as I'd like to see it, but I see it.
Yeah, well, patience, impatience, it's going to come when it comes, right? But it's going to come because you continue to work.
No question. And, everybody having a sense of urgency. And again, you hear that attention to detail keeps coming up. And that's our focus right now.
This is Furman Football Monday. It's brought to you by Ingalls, Bon Secours, and BMW. When we come back in our next segment, we'll visit with nose guard Parker Stokes. We'll find out what life is like down in the trenches as a defensive lineman. He had a 3-sack effort on Saturday. We'll talk about that, and we'll also go down Ingalls aisle 5. We'll play 5 questions with the Rennes, Georgia native. This is Furman Football Monday, and we'll be back in just a moment.
When you look at a diamond, what do you see? A multifaceted stone of remarkable strength, formed under intense pressure to shine brighter than all the rest. Hard edges, clean lines, with a fire inside. When you look at a diamond, what do you see? Ingalls, proud sponsor of Furman Athletics.
I learned that people are just looking for somebody to listen to them. You can't just start cutting somebody's hair and you're going to be quiet the whole time because you're not going to be in business long.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has provided over $800 million to help students attend technical colleges across our state, investing in a new generation of entrepreneurs, just like James.
It's bow time. If you ask us, dinner should be warm, golden, real deal, scratch made, and stick to your ribs with plenty to go around. Feed a family of 4 with 12 Supremes, biscuits, fixins, and tea. It's bow time.
Make your summer last during the Ford Labor Day sales event. Now is still a great time to buy a Ford. Choose from our F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years. And from the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. It's the Ford Labor Day sales event. Drive one, buy one today. Just announced. Now get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2021 Ford F-150. Learn more at buyfordnow.com and see your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Furman Football Monday continues. How about that beautiful shot of the bell tower and the lake here on this gorgeous campus in Greenville, South Carolina? Furman Football Monday is brought to you by Ingalls Bon Secours and BMW. I'm Dan Scott, the voice of the Paladins, and we are happy to be joined by this week's player guest, nose guard, fifth-year senior Parker Stokes, the pride of Rennes, Georgia. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Obviously, it goes without saying, but it's my job. I'll say it anyway. That was a tough one on Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah. Considering that's the last time I'll ever play them, yeah, it was pretty tough. And for our top spot in the SoCon, so it's tough, but we got to bounce back because we got a big one this week.
How easy is it for you to turn the page and move on?
Well, at this point, being a fifth year, I've been through some tough losses, so it's not as difficult as it would be if it was my first time losing a big game like that. But it's always difficult. We just got to get back in the lab and do better this week.
And have you learned now in 5 years, have you learned to manage the highs and lows? Because there have been some tough losses, but there have been some big wins in your career as well.
Definitely. When we won the SoCon, we came back and we could just listen to the hype, buy into the hype, but we didn't. We just have to keep our head down and keep working. Doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss.
Health science major, correct?
Yes, sir.
Which will, if everything goes according to plan, lead to what?
I want to be a medical device salesman in whichever city I end up living in once I graduate.
Okay. So this is an obvious networking opportunity. Any of those of you out there who may be watching who are in that line of work, it's a young man here who may want to talk to you when everything is done. We mentioned defense had 6 sacks on Saturday. You had 3 of them, and I think we've got a highlight package here showing some of the work that you did. Just kind of walk us through what's going on here. This is the first one.
Oh, the first one we have a twist set up, and Adrian gets good penetration right here, so I'm able just to clean up the job for him because shout out to Hope, but he should have made that one.
So that was number 1.
Yes, sir.
Here's number 2.
And then we got, I can't remember who got in there. Somebody penetrated first. Oh, this is number 2. Oh, I'm not even supposed to do this on this play. I'm supposed to just go straight down the middle, and I just saw him go to break out of the pocket, so I wrapped, and he was right there in my face.
Just read and react, right?
Yep, yes, sir.
That is the second one, and then the third of your 3 sacks on the day, and the 6th of 6 is coming up here in just a moment.
Oh, yeah, we got good push on him, so I'm supposed to just continue straight in that gap I was in, but I saw him leak upfield, so I got off the block, and he was just right there for me to make it.
The second one we saw, what was probably the best example that we saw all afternoon of a coverage sack because he had time to throw.
Yeah.
There was just nobody open downfield.
Yeah, I just saw him sitting back there, and I was like, either he's about to run it or throw it, and somebody's going to get back there. So.
Yeah, and this is a look at that. When you look at how much time, even in slow motion, how much time
Yeah,
he has
man.
to throw.
I didn't feel comfortable him sitting back there that long. I had to get back there somehow.
You mentioned Adrian Hope, and as a guy who you've been here with him his entire career, and we know the redshirt freshman season he had 15.5 sacks, and he was a pass rushing specialist then. Tell me how much more of a complete ball player he has become now that he is in his senior season as well, because it seems like you mentioned this, he makes plays that allows other people to make plays.
He's definitely become more disruptive because he's able to read blocks as better than he could as a freshman, and as a freshman it's hard when you get here and you're playing against run blocks against dudes that are 315, 6'5". Like, it's a lot more difficult to play a run block as it was in high school, but he's definitely come around and able to do it all.
We're going to talk in a minute about, when we get into the 5 questions, I'm going to ask you something about playing in the trenches, but you mentioned playing against big offensive linemen, and East Tennessee State's is huge. I mean, their tackles were 330 plus.
Yeah, they were pretty big.
But that's just life, right?
Yeah, I don't really pay attention to what it says on the roster, how big they are. As long as you play with good hands and leverage, it really doesn't matter how big they are.
That's why they teach you all that technique stuff,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. That's why you always got to work on your hands, especially at D-line.
Okay. I think it's time for us to take a stroll down Ingles Aisle 5 with Parker Stokes. We do this with every player, get to know them a little bit, play 5 questions with them, and just kind of get a little bit of a idea of who they are. And well, let's just get right into it. Ingles Aisle 5. You ready?
Yes,
Question number 1. Describe life as a defensive lineman. What's it like in the trenches?
It's fun because you get to play defense, which is a lot better than offense in my opinion, because you get to actually go and hit somebody. You don't have to wait around to hit somebody, or your job is just to be disruptive, which I love that. And as a 5th year, it's starting to wear and tear on your body a little bit because it's just getting pounded every day, but I love it regardless.
There's nothing dirty that goes on in there, is there?
Oh, no, definitely not.
No, on either side.
Nope, you can't see it either. You just got to be discreet.
Film doesn't lie, though.
Yeah.
That's what they say anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't lie.
All right, question number 2. You are marooned on an island, and you're allowed to have 3 personal possessions with you. What would you take?
Flint and steel, like to survive.
Right. Or whatever. Survival
Yeah.
or comfort. It's your choice.
Flint and steel, a water purifier, like so I can put ocean water in it, and I don't know, a sleeping bag.
Are you an outdoors guy?
Yes,
See,
I am.
so now that makes sense why you would say that. I would think a lot of people would say, well, I'd like to have my iPod, or I'd like to have a book,
No,
or
you
something
gotta
like
survive.
that. Yeah, got to survive. Are you a fan of the show Alone?
I've never seen Alone.
Really? Oh, that's got to be. If you're an outdoorsman,
What's that on?
It's on Discovery.
Okay.
You need to check that out.
I need to.
All right, question number 3. What's your hidden talent? What are you good at that maybe nobody knows?
I like to draw. I'm a pretty good drawer.
Really?
Yes, sir.
See, the downside to doing this, because we want the spontaneous answers, downside to doing it that way is if I gave that question to him in advance, he could have brought us in.
Yeah, I could have said something a little cooler.
Well, no, you could have brought us in a sample of your
Oh,
artwork, just
yeah,
like
I
London
could've.
Lewis last week. He said he was a poet.
Oh, he is
Yeah,
a poet.
yeah, but he said it was all written down. He couldn't remember any of it. That's what he told us anyway.
I have a sketchbook full of sketches. I should have brought it.
Yeah, there you go. But you had no idea we were going to do this. Question number 4. Who's the best player you played against in high school?
I played against Jake Furman in high school, but I also played against Dante Smith, who plays for the Bengals. I don't know. Probably Jake Fromm.
My Bengals, who beat up on the Ravens in Baltimore yesterday, by the way. Question number 5. Rennes, Georgia, right?
Yes, sir.
All
I
right.
went to high school in Rennes,
Rennes.
but I'm originally from Augusta.
Okay. Well, let's go with Augusta then. The best restaurant in Augusta. No chain. It's got to be the place where the locals go.
Wife Saver. It's like a
Wife Saver.
yes. It's a like a local chicken restaurant, and I love it.
What's your go-to meal there?
I get the 5-piece chicken finger with mac and cheese and green beans, and
Okay.
it comes with either cornbread or roll, and I get both of them.
It's not an either-or situation with you.
Gotta have them both.
Wife Saver.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about Rennes? Is there a go-to place in Rennes?
It's called Peggy's. It's just like hole in the wall, just mom and pop food. I don't
Like
know.
meat and three kind of
yeah,
place?
exactly.
Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, well, listen, I've enjoyed it. We found
sir,
out a little
me
bit
too.
about Parker Stokes. And we continue on this edition of Furman Football Monday, brought to you by Ingles, Bon Secours, and BMW. Clay Hendrix rejoins us in a moment. We'll take a look at our Bon Secours catch of the game and turn our attention toward this Saturday's matchup at Chattanooga. We'll be back to Paladins Stadium to wrap up the show in just a moment.
I learned that people are just looking for somebody to listen to them. You can't just start cutting somebody's hair and you're gonna be quiet the whole time because you're not gonna be in business long.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has provided over $800 million to help students attend technical colleges across our state, investing in a new generation of entrepreneurs, just like James.
Spink's chicken tenders aren't just fast and fresh. They're crispier, crunchier, juicier, saucier, spicier, legendary-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier. Spink's drinks aren't just fast and fizzy, they're fruitier, chewier, bolder, creamier, slushier, bigger, refreshing-ier. Oh, so many options. One easy stop. Spink's, making life easier.
Staying healthy has never been more important. Regular exercise can help both prevent and fight illnesses. At the YMCA of Greenville, we are ready to help you and your family build your strength, endurance, flexibility, confidence, and immunity with personal training, group exercise classes, swim lessons, youth sports, and more. All from a clean, safe, and fun space. Join the Y today to protect your health.
Make your summer last during the Ford Labor Day sales event. Now is still a great time to buy a Ford. Choose from our F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 44 years. And from the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. It's the Ford Labor Day sales event. Drive one, buy one today. Just announced. Now get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2021 Ford F-150. Learn more at buyfordnow.com and see your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Furman Football Monday brought to you by Ingles, Bon Secours, BMW continues here from Paladins Stadium. I'm Dan Scott. Clay Hendrix is rejoining us. You know, I gotta say this before we get too far gone into this final segment. Just visited with Parker Stokes, who was wonderful. Every one of your players that we talked to handled themselves in this situation so well. Even though a lot of them come in and say, "Oh, I've never done this before," they all do so really well.
Well, I agree with you. I think Furman does a great job preparing these guys for life beyond. That's something we certainly work hard at, you know, because, you know, Parker's one of those guys pretty soon. He's not going to be here, you know, and you know, he's going to do well. And, you know, obviously we recruit those kinds of kids. That's important to us. And I take a lot of pride in coaching our guys.
I knew exactly. I knew he was an outdoorsman when I asked him that question about if you were marooned on an island, what would you want? And flint, the things to survive, not anything from a comfort standpoint. Let's take a look at our Bon Secours catch of the game. Mentioned that Ryan Miller had career highs in catches and yardage on Saturday, and this was a big one. It was a 3rd and long and a first down. He had to go up in tight coverage, tightrope the sideline, Clay.
Yeah, a heck of a catch. Ryan's made a lot of those, and you know, from where I was standing was you weren't sure about what kind of spot you were going to get, but we got a favorable spot there, and you know, but he did. He obviously had a big day and a bunch of catches, bunch of yards, and had a really productive career. I'm glad he's playing for us.
Talk about it seems like such a simple play, but. And the defense in that situation knows that they can't let him get here, and yet he's still able to run that defensive back off.
Well, I think the difference with Ryan is he's obviously a tight end, more of a hybrid receiver. He's a bigger guy.
Right.
He has excellent speed, you know, and so you tell that defensive back, you know, are you going to let him run by you? He's also a big body, you know, and he's pretty good at contested catches. You know, you go watch him if you ever watched him play basketball. You know, just an explosive athlete, and obviously that's just one of those you kind of got to have a little confidence to go make happen, and it certainly was a big catch in the game.
Yeah, it was, and that was our Bon Secours catch of the game. All right, pages turn now. Chattanooga is in focus. We'll take a look at our tell of the tape, some of the number matchups between the Paladins and the Mocs, and it doesn't get any easier after ETSU this week, right?
Oh, absolutely not. If not, maybe even more talented than the group we just saw. You know, they won a really close game with East Tennessee the week before. They're built similarly. And Dan, I say this, they might be the oldest football team in college football. You know, they've got, you can see it documented in their stats. I think 3 7-year guys, 11 6-year guys, something like 14 5th-year guys. I don't know if anybody in America would have that many guys with just that much experience, and they're good players too. So they're experienced, good players. A lot of really extremely athletic, well coached, you know, and it'll certainly be a big challenge for us. We had every opportunity to win the game here in the spring and lost maybe a 2-point game. You know, got an extra point blocked and had to go for 2. end up being kind of difference in the game. So, just take a great week of preparation, and, we'll go up there, and, it's a place we've played well before. And we'll have to go play extremely well to have a chance.
So your Ingalls-SoCon standings there, the Paladins kind of right in the middle of things at 2-2, and 4 teams above them with 1 loss, including ETSU and Mercer there at the top at 4-1. It's another team in Chattanooga that likes to run the football.
Well, I have 3 outstanding running backs. I think up front they have a 7th-year guy, 2 6-year guys. I know at least another 5th-year guy. Really big. One kid probably be drafted. They do want to run football. Very similar. A little bit different how East Tennessee does it, but real similar. Have been really good at it, and it'll certainly take a great effort out of our defense to slow. I don't think you're going to stop them, but to slow them down certainly.
Well, and that's kind of where I was going to go, because you have a sense that a team like ETSU, for instance, is going to get some yards in the running game. But were you happy with the way your defensive front played against their offensive line?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing I felt like defensively, you feel like you give up 17 points. I feel like we should win every week. At the end of the day, as a team, you got to do the things you have to do as the game, goes, whether it's finishing a drive to finish the game or getting a stop and getting off the field. And, I think other than the third down, the third down is just not being able to get off the field. Then it turns around and limits the possessions you get. You don't have it, you don't have a chance to score. So, those are things we just got to continue to work at it. And again, sometimes giving them credit for plays they make. But our kids playing hard, we're talented, played without. I think we had maybe 4 starters out defensively. We'll get a couple guys back. I think that'll help us. And, it'll be the same kind of game Saturday.
What do you see from Chattanooga defensively? We talked a little bit about their offense and what they like to do. How are they on that side of the ball?
Well, they had, a defense lineman had 4.5 sacks against East Tennessee himself a couple weeks ago. I think probably one of the best players in our league, Devontae Maxwell. Been playing against him seems like forever, and he may have another year for all I know. The way, just a really old veteran team. I mean, they gave Kentucky fits earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. Pretty multiple, just a lot of speed defensively. I think probably even maybe a bigger version of what we saw at East Tennessee. So it's like I said, they're really solid both sides of the ball, and again, we've been playing against these guys for several years, so they'll present quite a challenge. But our guys will be up for it too.
It's kind of interesting when you have coaching staffs that have been around for a while now, and you go against it. So there's not going to be a whole lot in the world of surprises really on either side of the ball, are there?
I agree, and you go back and even watch. I mean, we've watched all the games. Like Rusty Wright, who I know pretty well. Rusty, they got there in, I guess, 19. So we went up there and won a game we trailed early and came back, had a really big win up there 2 years ago. And, I think maybe the last 2 times up there we'd won. So, yeah, and even historically, Lorenzo Ward, their defense coordinator, was at Fresno State one of the years when I was at Air Force. So I've known Lorenzo there a long time. So, yeah, that'll be a big part of it. I don't think there a lot of trickery is going to take place. It's going to be, who can go out and execute.
All right, sounds good. Let's see how this one plays out this week, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that the radio broadcast for our matchup at Chattanooga will begin with the Pepsi Countdown to Kickoff at noon and the kick at 1:30 in Chattanooga. Hope that you can join us, and if you're going to watch their ESPN Plus broadcast, feel free to do so. Just turn the channel down and dial in the radio broadcast. We look forward to having you on board for that. This has been this week's edition of Furman Football Monday, brought to you by Ingalls, Bon Secours, and BMW. For Coach Clay Hendrix, Byron Apt, and his staff, I'm Dan Scott, the voice of the Paladins, saying God bless you, and so long, everybody.